looking forward to breaking down their road to the final with Martin Potter and Rosie Hodge. I'm Ronnie Blakey. Thank you for joining us for our pre-final show. Just a perfect day, Potts, here in Paradise.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, you know, just to get the conditions we've had, we've waited a long time for this, you know, for this swell to fill in, and it hasn't disappointed. The surfing's been fantastic. We've seen some incredible rides and a lot of upsets along the way, so it's been a very unique event. No shortage of upsets, Rosie. These two, they haven't met before in a head-to-head heat. Connor, he's been chipping away. He just posted his best single ride of the event. Matt Wilkinson, on the other hand, on the top half of the draw, has been dropping excellent scores on his run right through to the final. That's right. I mean, Matt Wilkinson has really showed us a great performance throughout this event. On the other hand, Connor O'Leary has really had to scrap through heats with some great strategy. This last heat, we really saw him step up that performance, so in the final, he might just have something more to give. Well, Connor can really, Potts, make it hard for the other rookies to track him down for that Rookie of the Year race if he can get the victory here. Obviously already going to make a big jump up the leaderboard, but Matt Wilkinson, a lot on the line for him. He can actually seize the ratings lead with a victory. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? To come off a year that he had last year, a breakthrough performance for him, back-to-back wins at the beginning of the year, and then to have a really good performance here last year in big barreling ways, and then to replicate that, to find himself again in the finals here. It's a testament to how hard and how much hard work Matt Wilkinson's put in, and I'm impressed with his performance as well as this kid as well. Big question marks last year after Wilco got off to such a great start, Rosie. We were looking at spots like Fiji, Tahiti, where he hasn't often gotten past those earlier rounds. He kind of blew our minds last season. He got to second place, and even said after the final, if someone told him he was going to get second place in this event last season, he wouldn't have believed them. Yeah. But this year, I think he came here with the expectation of winning. Second's not going to be good enough for Wilco. Well, it's just been so impressive just to see the way that he's kind of picked out weaknesses in his surfing and improved them. So to come back with the same consistency as last year, he had such a cracker start. But then to improve on that barrel riding, like Kelly Slater and Potts, you touched on it during their heats. But it's just so impressive to see him refreshed and doing so much better than even he did in 2016 season. Ronnie, I think for me, the difference for Matty Wilco is not the tube riding. We saw that last year. But it's this stuff here, his rail work. I mean, just the conviction that he's been, you know, putting into his turns. He's been going out there with turns in mind, and then when those barrels do rear their heads, he's been taking advantage of it. But I think his rail surfing on his front side has gotten way better. Yeah, definitely looking so comfortable out here at Cloudbreak, when in years gone by he has looked a little lost. Has had some tough draws though in those earlier rounds where he has lost out here, but he didn't seem flustered. You know, a big confidence-building last-minute victory over Michel Perez in the semi-finals. He's going to be really primed for this one. Yeah, he's just looking sharp. You know, obviously, to me, he's always been good in the barrel, but, you know, and his backhand lethal, you know, last year, obviously, was a testament to that. But this kind of surfing that he's been doing, it's kind of going out there with manoeuvres in mind, you know, obviously sneaking a couple of tube rides in along the way, but you know, just that rail work for me has got him through so many heats so far at this event. Well, another point to make, I mean, in round number 3, he was one of those first 4 heats, so he got to sit in round 4 and watch the rest of round 3 play out for almost a week. He had that time off, and then in that round 3, the top seas got absolutely dismantled. This opportunity presented itself for Matt Wilkinson to really climb up the leaderboard, and he's done that so well. So also just showing the mental toughness that he has right now in his competitive surfing and his approach. So really doing so well to just overcome every single hurdle that's come his way. Always had that spark on the backhand, and that was only intensified when he started to work on his fitness and his power. But on the forehand, I don't think we've seen surfing like this from Matt before. It's going to be hard to stop this year. He's definitely, I think, Potts going to learn a lot from what unfolded at the back end of last year, and he's going to be in the race right to the very last event, I'd say. I think so. You know, he's getting better in waves like this, Ronnie. I mean, next stop on the tour is Jeffreys Bay, where he's had great results in the past. So, you know, just to fill in the gaps with these kind of events, he's going to become more and more dangerous. You know, you said even win, lose or draw, he's going to close the gap on the rest of the field. He could walk away with the yellow jersey if he gets past Connor. But he's still got a lot of hard work to do because Connor's not going to lay down. Definitely not. You know, this time last year, Matt, the spotlight was just so fixed on him, Rosie. It must have been burning. It was so bright. A lot of extra attention. Obviously handled it pretty well here in Fiji, but that title did sort of slip away from him. He fell out of the race.
Well, I think in the same breath, I think that run that he had up to this point in Fiji where he made the final, those expectations and that freeness in his surfing was really there. But then that pressure started to mount, and Maddie just kind of coming to pieces at the end half of the year, and he was wearing that pressure. But now I think he's learned from that. I think he's really gained a mental toughness that we're seeing that's attributed to his success here in Fiji again, and backing up such a stellar year last year already.
I think, too, a lot more comfortable with the criticism that comes with being at the top, being in that position to maybe claim a world title. You know, the world's best have to deal with that. We're hard on them, Potts, and we have to be.
Well, that's it. I mean, you've got to have thick skin as well. You know, you got to accept the criticism and maybe use it as fuel to the fire, because you know, it's not going to stop here. The further up the rankings he gets, the more consistent he becomes, the more pressure on him to perform is going to be created. So, you know, he's going to be one of those guys that everyone's going to be talking about in many years to come, because he's continuously putting on these breakthrough performances, you know. One
thing that we saw in the early rounds of this event was when the top seeds stumbled, those behind them on the ladder failed to capitalise, and there were some great opportunities with some, I'd say, pretty unevenly matched heats in that third round, but the bottom seeds, they just kept prevailing, and Matt Wilkinson was the one guy at the top end, just sitting outside the top two, who's kept alive in the draw and now has an opportunity to seize the lead. But Connor O'Leary, let's talk about this guy for a bit, because Luke Egan's looking to go 2 from 2 here. Courtney Conlog, he coached her to a victory in the women's event. And Connor just seems to be clicking into form right now at the perfect time.
Yeah, positioning in the lineup I think is key. I think that's what's got him through pretty much. You know, Luke sits in a unique place out there in the lineup, and day in and day out he's on those crazy bombs, those barreling waves, and that's what Connor's been finding. So good to see. And yeah, Luke could go 2 from 2 here, but a lot of hard work to be done just yet. Don't get too carried away. You know, Barton touched on the fact that Connor was sort of almost jumping out of his skin with enthusiasm and that energy that grommets bring to it, you know, and I think that's what's got him through.
So Connor O'Leary and Matt Wilkinson, 2 surfers that haven't yet dropped a heat in this event. They got through those non-elimination heats, made the jump past round 2 and round 5 directly to the quarters. But Connor O'Leary, I think the real payoff for him it has come from making that journey here before the event and tapping into a bit of swell here at Cloudbreak.
Yeah, definitely. We've been talking about the experience that you need out here in this lineup. He did have that previous trip, and that was only 2 weeks prior to this event starting. So Connor really leaning on that understanding in this event and trying to, you know, contribute that confidence to that. But the rail work that he's been doing has been so precise.
He's a big, strong kid, isn't he? And it kind of fits with Cloudbreak. You know, it's one of those waves that you kind of need to be that guy, you know. A lot of water moving, big chunky waves. I mean, you saw a couple of waves there at the beginning of this clip of how big it really was in those first couple of rounds. So it kind of matching the power.
One thing I've loved about Connor's run through the draw is just how full on he's gone into those first turns. He always puts the foot down at the beginning, doesn't really wash his speed off before he goes into those big moves, and it's given him an edge over some, obviously some much more fancied rivals.
I think he's a worthy rookie. I mean, he's, you know, he's 15th place coming into this event. He's going to jump. He's going to jump a long way up the rankings, that's for sure. And are we going to witness one of the best rookie performances in quite some time? I mean, you know, this guy's pretty much top 5 material if you look at what he's been doing here at this event.
He is just so super stealthy too. I mean, last year when we saw the rookie class coming up on the qualifying series, we were all eyes fixed on Leonardo Fioravanti. He's a rookie on tour this year, but then Connor O'Leary, come the back end of the year, snatched the lead away. So he came in as the rankings leader on the QS, and just shows, you know, that he's been quietly chipping away, and here he is in a final in his rookie year. It's just so impressive, and what an accolade for this rookie class.
Yeah.
A great performance so far, starting to put up some of his best numbers just in time for the final. Connor O'Leary, the only rookie to crack into the final event of a championship tour contest this season.